all these sites actually have a problem with so many domain names in the certificate. The certificate becomes very long, which brings down the performance of the overall performance of SSL. On the most disappointing slide is, and the results of the survey is this one, which looks at protocol support. And the result is that about 1/2 of all servers actually support SSL2. Now the problem with SSL2 is that we've known for 14 years that it's insecure, and 40 years on, we still have half of the servers supporting it, which is really disappointing. The only thing that saves us is that the major browsers do not support SSL2. So most common users who use their browsers to connect to various sites are actually not exposed. However, that does not mean that many programmatic users of SSL, where you write clients that use connect from the command line, will not fall back to SSL2 if they cannot establish SSL3. And the danger here is that you will have a man in the middle who will prevent any attempts to establish an SSL3 or better connection, forcing the clients to fall back to SSL2, and then in that case that connection is basically can be easily broken. And as you can see also, it's not only that SSL2 is widely supported, so the newer protocols, TLS 1.1 and TLS 1.2, are almost the support is virtually non-existent. Hopefully this will start to change, because OpenSSL is by far the most widely used server-side library. OpenSSL 1.0 has started to support 1.1, and we can expect to see this supporting be better in the future. When it comes to ciphers, key exchanges, hash functions, again, this is a slide that those who like SSL will like. Triple-DES and RC4 are very widely supported, and then AES is about supported in 68%. Generally, what I worry and what all these results tell us is SSL is a protocol that was designed with diversity in mind, and the idea with SSL is it's a hybrid protocol that supports many algorithms, and the idea is that if some of the algorithms are compromised, you actually have others that are still strong to fall back onto. And the fact that there's actually not much, most servers actually support 2 ciphers here is problematic. If we were to discover a flaw, as we do, we discover flaws with these algorithms all the time. If we were to discover the flaws in one of the major ciphers, then it will probably take years to upgrade those servers and get rid of the vulnerability. So the lack of diversity is generally a big problem. When it comes to strength, I have some good news, and the good news is that virtually all servers actually support strong ciphers that are either 128 bits and or 256 bits, so which is very good. And this slide will tell you about cipher suite support and preference. Again, you can see Triple-DES and RC4 here at the top of the list. Now, SSL comes with an interesting feature, which is the cipher suite preference, which essentially allows servers to look at the cipher suites that an SSL client will support and choose the best cipher suite according to what they feel is right. And it's a bit sad that only 40% of all servers actually have this feature enabled, that will actively select which cipher suites will be used, which means that with 60% of the servers is actually the clients that will choose the cipher suites. But all of that said, it's actually maybe it's for the better, because historically speaking, browser vendors have been better at supporting SSL, making sure that only what's secure is used. Because if you look at those servers that actually exercise their preference, and if you look at the top 10 list, you will see that in the top 10 there are actually 3 cipher suites that are weak. There's one that's 56 bits strong, and there's a couple of export cipher suites that actually are pretty weak and can be easily broken to. So you can see that even those servers that actively choose what to support actually don't do a good job of it. So at this point in time, I would rather rely on the browser vendors to protect us than on the server configuration. And this is sort of the most important slide, which is If you remember, in SSL Labs we have the grade, and the grade is what tells you how well configured your server is. And then this slide will tell you exactly what goes on the internet level. The conclusion is about 1/3 of all servers are reasonably well configured. And I am guessing these are servers where someone actually paid attention and configured the servers relatively properly. And then we have the other 2/3 of all servers that are just badly configured. And my guess is these are the people that just run the default settings, and they just support obsolete protocols, they support weak key exchanges, and then they support weak cipher suites. Strict transport security, for those who are not aware of it, is a really cutting-edge feature for SSL that allows sites to say that it will run only SSL and that browsers should never really contact them on port 80. And it's only we found only 12 sites that support this feature, so which can tell you that really, to sum it up, no one really pays much attention to how SSL is configured. So the last slide here is the only thing that we could say is, in all these years, SSL has proven to be a really good protocol. If you exclude SSL2, SSL3 has stood to the test of time. And the closest thing that we have found to a flaw in the protocol itself is the renegotiation issue, which was discovered late last year. And in the survey, we looked as to how many servers were patched, and we have found, and remember this is all the survey is from July 2010, we have found that 1/3 of all servers still supported insecure renegotiation, which means that these servers are still vulnerable. Only about 20% of the servers were patched, and then about 1/2 of all servers simply disabled renegotiation. Disabling renegotiation is an easy way out, which the majority of sites can do because they do not use the renegotiation feature, although there is a very small percentage of all sites that do require it, and they must be patched. The Opera browser security team actually tracks the number of patch servers over time. So if you go to their security blog, you can actually see the more recent numbers. And Microsoft, in the last 1 month, Microsoft has released a patch for this flaw. So there's been a spike, and I think the situation is slightly better today. And that's about it as the survey is concerned. These are all the numbers. It's a bit dry, as always is when there are so many different angles to cover. I have a one-slide conclusion. There are some good things and some bad things. The good things is that virtually all deployments have good key size. The certificates are good. The protocol support is good, and the strong cipher ciphers are supported. The bad news is that equally, as there is wide support for good protocols and good aspects of SSL, there is very wide support for bad protocols and weak cipher suites. We still have SSL2 supported. I'm concerned that so few servers support TLS 1.1 and 1.2, which means that many of the advanced features that these protocols offer are actually not available to all these servers. My view, and today we have seen from the renegotiation, from the speed of the rate of patching for the renegotiation vulnerability, it will take more than a year, probably 2 years, for the majority of servers to be patched whenever a big issue with SSL is discovered. So my conclusion is that very few people actually pay any attention to configuring SSL, so that if we want to improve SSL security, we have to focus on the vendors, so that they have secure defaults, and we actually have to focus on library developers so they actively remove features that are weak. For example, OpenSSL, the major branch that's used today, still supports SSL2, but there is really no reason, and there hasn't been a reason to support SSL2 for a long time now. So it is there where we really need to put pressure and to make things better. So the survey was really detailed. but there's still many things that we want to do. We can go much deeper. In the areas where only SSL connoisseurs, SSL and TLS connoisseurs will be interested. One big possible improvement that we want to look at is that SSL is really not the common attack vector today, but there are certain aspects of it that are very important which we haven't covered in this study, and those are insecure session cookies, and those are that's also mixed content, either content that's mixed on the same page where you have non-SSL and SSL stuff on the same page or on the same site. These are three problems that actually can break SSL 100%. So in the second phase of the study, what we'll do, we will probably reduce the number of sites that we look at, but then we will crawl all these sites to figure out if they suffer from these three really big problems. My gut feeling is that they are, because I know from my personal experience that many sites, many very popular sites, are very insecure when it comes to SSL. So chances are that that's what we'll see, but then at least we'll have some hard numbers that will be used, we will be able to use in the debate. There's an interesting similar project, which is the EFF Certificate Observatory. They've done a similar study, except that they focused on more on certificates, but not on the configuration of SSL. But we have since been in contact, and will probably collaborate in the future. They have pledged to make all their data available, and so have we. So in the following weeks, what we'll do, we will make the raw data from our SSL survey available for download. So if you're interested in running your own queries, you will be able to download essentially our database, which is a summary of all our data, and then run any specific research on that too. And that's all I had to say today. We have a couple of more minutes left, and if you have any questions, now will be the best time to ask them.